Hi, Michael Oguike from Lagos, Nigeria. Nice to meet you, Michael. Okay, do we have anyone else who wants to introduce themselves? Let's make this a very interactive session. Okay, Endurance. Hi, Endurance, joining from Abuja. Okay. Okay, hi, Peace, joining from Delta State. Nice to meet everyone. You can still put in your name and your location. Fantastic. Queen, you've got Elvis, Fortunate. Oh, Fortunate, you are fortunate to be on this call. How's that for a pun? Anyway, well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. As you can see, you are in the room with people from different parts of the country. This is different parts of Nigeria, Anambra, Gombe. It's fantastic. And I think this is one of the best things about technologies, how it connects people from different parts of the world and puts them in a room together. Now, remember, today's topic is going to cover the global AI talent shortage and how every one of you can get in on that movement. So let's get into it. But before we do, who are the people in this room and what is your motivation? You usually find that whenever you're discussing topics like this and a group of people gather, there is motivation behind that. Now, one thing I want to establish before we move on, 72% of employers cannot find the AI talents that they need. This is a fact. You can Google it. 72% of employers. And do you know why? That's because even though the market is there, the knowledge is there. The people who are willing to learn how to use these tools, the people who are willing to learn how to become AI literate, there's not a lot in the market. And the thing is, it is growing, but not as fast as the market would like it to. Now, 67% of the market gets higher pay for AI skilled roles. Now, this is what happens when demand exceeds supply. When demand exceeds supply, you're going to see that people are charging or paying more for those roles. That's because you don't find a lot of that in the market. For example, if you post a job of a data entry specialist now, you don't necessarily have to pay a high salary for that kind of role. You can just pay, say, maybe $5, $10 an hour, and people will rush the job. That's because data entry doesn't necessarily require any level of intelligence. Anybody can do it. But when you are looking at an industry that it requires a special kind of specialty, expertise for you to do that, and you don't have a lot of people in that space, the payments for that starts to go up. Companies are starting to notice that when there is automation equals we can do things faster. Doing faster equals, okay, I see that we have some hands up, but don't worry, I will be taking questions after this. I'm going to be wrapping up in a couple of minutes. Don't worry about it. So you can drop your questions in the chat and I will get to you eventually. Now, the reason why companies are looking for people who are skilled in AI is because AI represents the chance to do things faster. Now, I'm going to give you an example. I'm sure we must have all seen animated videos, animated funny cartoons, even some of the ones that our kids watch, right? Has anyone seen that? You're just scrolling on TikTok, you're scrolling on Instagram, and you just see all these animated videos with funny storylines. And that's on Instagram, on TikTok. If you have, send a thumbs up. Send a thumbs up if you have. Okay, fantastic. I see that only, okay. So we've got a lot of people who've seen those kind of videos. There's quite a lot going on in the markets now. And that's because in the past, when you wanted to animate, it took a lot of expertise for you to do that. You had to build storyboards, you had to do a whole lot of scripting, and then you had to learn how to use the animation tools to move them, to make them, to give them motion, to make it fluid. And now all you have to do is prompt. If you are fantastic at prompting, you can release things like that. So basically what AI has done is it has compressed the time that it takes to release things like that. So companies are looking for people who have this skill because they are looking for people who can help them compress time so they can make money faster. Now we're seeing that 41 countries are already reporting the shortage. So it doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. you're in Nigeria, you are in Uganda, it doesn't matter. The AI shortage is everywhere. You can get a job in the UK, you can get a job in Canada, you can get a job in the US, so long as you know how to market your skills. Really, it's number one, it's having the skills, and then it is marketing the skills. I always say that it's broken down into two. 25% is the skill. The other 75% is how you package that skill for the market. Now, on the call, we've got a range of people from different backgrounds. You are either students, or maybe you're a fresh graduate, maybe you're looking for a job, and you're looking for what is the best way for me to position myself in the market. Maybe you are already a working professional, whatever industry it is you work in, maybe you're new to the job market, maybe you've been doing this for quite some time, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, it doesn't matter. AI is as relevant as it was to anyone, no matter how long you have spent in the job market. And we've also got some entrepreneurs as well. So people who are looking to start their own businesses, or people who are running their own businesses and looking for, hey, how can AI help me make more money? And then, of course, freelancers. So you get projects on Upwork, you get projects on Fiverr, you get projects on different contract job boards, and this is an opportunity for you to do the things that you do faster. While this is going on, my colleagues are going to be dropping a form in the chat section that's called an attendance form. So what you see here, this presentation is going to be shared with the people who fill out the attendance form, including some free resources as well. And if you do not do that, unfortunately, I can't share this with you, including some of the really cool prompts I will be showing you how to use today. So fill out the form if you want to gain access to everything, just in case you maybe might drop off at some point during this call, or maybe you're busy, you're driving, you're doing something that won't let you pay full attention to this. All right, now I've mentioned the category on a high level, but there are a couple of people who filled out a form before they joined this meeting, and they fell into different categories. You know, some of them are physically exhausted. Oh, I'm doing this job, I've been working in the bank for so long, you know, and I'm earning 400,000, and it's just not working for me anymore. I'm in Lagos, and 400,000 can't get you anything anymore in Lagos. And then, you know, that starts to build up frustration. It starts to build up resentment, especially when you see that people who are in your industry are getting jobs that are outside of the country. So it's like, how in the world am I going to get this? What is different about what I'm doing? It seems like everybody is moving, but you are just at a standstill. So the question is, how do you move from where you are to where you deserve to be? And that is the gap that we are going to be closing today. Now, this is exactly why Tenalytics exists. It exists because 73% of tech job seekers have the relevant skills but cannot land interviews. So you deserve this. You deserve to get more. You deserve to get the job. But for some reason, you're not getting interviews. And if you don't get interviews, how in the world will you get in and get the job? When you apply to jobs, the only thing you get are rejections and rejections and rejections. Well, that's fine. There is a science to it. The truth is, nobody's going to promise you every single job you apply for, you're going to get an invitation to come in for an interview. That's not true. That's a lie. But there is a science to applying and at least to getting selected by the top jobs that you want. And that is something that we have perfected over the years. Now, if you have a portfolio and you are looking for a job, you are 3 times more likely to get hired as opposed to not having a portfolio. That is how Henry, I will be taking questions after this session, but if your question is urgent, you can drop it in the chat and I will get to you. Okay. Now, a portfolio is extremely important when you are job searching. I cannot emphasize how much of a deal breaker it is when you open a candidate's profile and they do not have a portfolio. It's one of the things that would automatically erase you if a recruiter or an employer is especially looking out for that. Now, 90 days is all it takes for you to go from 0 to offer ready with the right system. So that means that you don't have to spend a year, 2 years, 3 years before you can get into the market. All you need is 90 days of focus, 90 days of locking. Now, I want you to type in the chat section, lock-in season, because this is the season to lock in. We're wrapping up H1. The end of June is the end of H1, and we're saying hi to H2, which is half year. That means that there's only 6 months for you to do the things that you want to do, for you to bring that change that you want to bring into your life. So if you're ready to lock in this year, if you're ready to lock in for the rest of H2, I want you to type lock-in season. Fantastic. Lion's Roar, that's a very interesting name, by the way. Endurance, Philomena, Favor, fantastic. Exactly. Dan Juma, this is lock-in season. Queen Esther, lock-in season. This is the time for you to get everything that you are looking out for in the market. So we are no longer sitting on the sidelines. We are locking in this season. Now, Analytics, I always tell people, is a career activation system. A career activation system that is built for people who are done waiting. So this means I want more from life. I want more. I want to get to a point where I don't have to think about, oh, I'm earning 400 or I'm earning 500. I want to earn way more than that. And trust me when I tell you that there is so much potential in the market. The only thing that stands between you and what you want are your skills. For one, if you have the skills, the next thing is the way you package yourself. And that is something we have perfected over the years. Now, Analytics is an ed tech that is focused on helping people land high-paying jobs in the tech ecosystem. Now, before you came across Analytics, I'm sure you must have come across some others, maybe on Coursera, maybe you came across Utiva, and a bunch of others, maybe ALX, and you're wondering, why should I join Analytics? What is different about what they do? Well, I'm going to tell you. So you see, the first part is you are getting a skill. That's fantastic. But guess what? You and 200,000 other people have the skill. So how do you stand out? How are you different? Because what recruiters are looking for goes beyond the skill. They are looking for a range of things. They are looking for proof that you have done this before. We always say something in Analytics. We say competence over credentials. What that means is your competence is literally the one factor that separates you from the people who only have credentials to offer. There are a bunch of things that goes into you getting your final offer. Things like the way you interview. When you walk into an interview, when they ask you, tell me about yourself, how do you answer that? Do you start to stammer? My name is Lola, and when you have to submit your resume for a job, how do you package your resume? Do you have keywords in there? Can the ATS actually read your resume? There are a bunch of things that go into you becoming employable beyond you getting a brand new skill. And that is where we love to live in, that gray line between how you can connect the dots from I have a brand new skill to I have gotten a job. And we have done this for over 5 years. Now we're headquartered in Alberta, Canada, and then also in the UK as well. And in over 5 years, we've been able to help over 4,000 people. And these are people who did not have prior experience in tech break into the industry. And not only that, land jobs. Now, one thing I want you to keep in mind is that every time I tell people 4,000, it's like we've only trained 4,000 people. That's not true. So there's something that we call USP. That is your unique selling point. Our unique selling point is we help you get a job. So over 4,000 people who had no experience in tech have been able to break into the industry. For every person that comes and says, hi, Analytics, I was able to get a job, there are 10 other people who never came back to give us a testimonial. So when you go through our LinkedIn, our YouTube, and you see those testimonials, those are real people with real results that we've been able to drive in over 5 years in the industry. Now, we've helped people transition into a range of roles across cybersecurity, data analytics, health tech, financial analytics, data engineering, HR analytics, project management, and product design. And like I said, we have been doing this for over 5 years. Now we're getting into it. But first, who is Lola Femi, and why in the world should you spend your time listening to me? You're spending what, say an hour, give or take, in this meeting. So why exactly should you even implement anything I advise you to? Well, my name is Lola Femi, and I'm the COO of Tenalytics, and I have experience, a range of experience across product and operations, and I've been doing this for over a decade now in different industries, e-commerce, fintech, GovTech, CX. I have footprints there. And I think one of the best parts is that I have sat on both sides of the table. So I have interviewed and have been interviewed. So I literally know what recruiters, employers are looking for because I've been on both sides of it. So if you're talking about what are the systems that I need to get a job, what are the sites I need to go to get a job, how do I package myself in the market, how do I become the kind of candidates that recruiters look at and say, oh my gosh, I want to hire that person. There is no person that you need to talk to more than Lola. And I'm going to be giving you a blueprint on how you can accomplish this today. All right, now let's get into it. We're going to be covering the next couple of things in the next 60 minutes, just so that you spend your time well. The first thing is the AI revolution. We're going to be covering the opportunity that exists right now in Africa for talents that are looking to break into AI. And then we're also going to be exploring new career paths as well. We're going to be walking through the Tenalytics system and the exact pathway that all of these talents, the 4,000 people, success stories, the exact pathway that they have taken and has given them real results and proof. And then I'm also going to be showing you what your enrollment options look like so you can get into it. Now, we're really getting into it. First of all, let's talk about the scale of the shortage. That's what I call it. At the moment, we have 1.6 million open AI positions globally right now, and we've only got about 518 qualified candidates. So take a look at this poll. This is over 1.6 million. And the crazy thing is that new roles are opening every day. For every job that AI erases off the table, it creates 10 more. That's the beauty of it. So every day, people are recruiting for people who understand how to use AI in their workflows. So why exactly is this shift happening in the market? The first thing is that employers cannot find the AI skills that they need. So AI does make what you do faster. That's amazing, but I cannot do everything myself. If I could use AI and do everything myself, then I wouldn't need to bring in people who are experts at it. But it is important for them to find people who can fill these roles because they cannot do everything by themselves. Another reason why we are seeing an explosion here as well is because AI is paying at least 67% more than traditional tech roles. And like I mentioned to you at the start, that's because it's sort of new and novel. The opportunity is not like the way it is right now in traditional tech roles, where we have a lot of people. For example, data analysts. We have a lot of data analysts. But when you look at an AI-powered data analyst, you are talking about something completely different. Your usual data analyst will probably take about a week to get certain things done. An AI-powered data analyst is going to use a day to get it done. And that is the beauty of AI. Now, it takes on average 66 days to fill just one AI role. You know why? Because companies cannot find people who are skilled at this. And the beauty again is that every single person in this room could be one of those people that they are out there looking for. I don't know, before I move on, are you one of those people? If you are, you can say yes in the chat section. If you're not, you can say no. Let me know if I'm talking to the people who are wanted. Are you one of those people? A large part of breaking into any industry that you're looking for, any breakthrough you're looking for, the first thing is your mindset. So if you don't even believe that it's possible for you, you're already defeated before you step into the market. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of yes by God's grace. Okay, yes, yes, from Derek, from Michael, fantastic. So we are going to be using a system to get you there, a repeatable framework that has worked for a bunch of people. Olaya said, I claim it. Don't worry, Olaya. We're going to be walking you through a system that you can use to claim it properly. Now, before I do that, I want to show you something. So how did AI move, by the way, in under 4 years to becoming a dominant factor in the market? At this moment, it's now determining the people who get jobs and the ones who don't get jobs. It's now a major differentiator. If you look at how AI has grown in the market, first of all, we had ChatGPT that launched. And for the first time in human history, it got an app, is a software, got 100 million users in 60 days. It's very important that you understand this, because it means that AI is not going away. It means the growth on AI, on the level of AI, it's unprecedented. It's unlike anything that we have ever seen in humanity. So whether or not we like it, AI has completely changed the game. Now, a lot of people knew that AI was going to change the industries and the way the world works, but in 2023, it officially entered our workflows. A lot of people started prompting, started discovering that AI could give them really cool outputs, and AI only got smarter. Now, in 2024, we began to see a shift. And one thing that we do in analytics is we are always monitoring the trend, because, again, the main thing for us is not the people who come in to learn new skills. It's the people who come in, learn new skills, and get a job. And the way the trend moved was that at first it was tech. It was just tech. For example, data analysts. And then it began to change. We began to see things like AI-powered data analysts, AI-powered business analysts, operations analysts, AI automation engineer. Those are the kind of roles that began to enter the market in 2024. Now, in 2025, what we're seeing is that AI skills, that's not just engineering, because at first it was a matter of developing the software. So a lot of companies there was this huge race between Meta, between OpenAI, between Anthropic, and everybody was just trying to develop the latest large language model. And because of that, one of the people that were in high demand then were engineers. So people who could build large language models. But after a while in 2025, there was a shift in that industry, and we began to see AI skills overtake engineering. So what that means is people who can use AI in their workflows. Now, you don't have to be an engineer. You don't have to know how to code. The only thing you need to know how to do is how to use AI as a force multiplier. Now, today, we are at what I would call an inflection point. So this is how the trajectory of AI in 4 years. Imagine what AI is going to do in the next 10 years. Now, remember, who knows about the Industrial Revolution? Does anyone on the call know anything about the Industrial Revolution? If you do, you can send like a thumbs up. If you don't, a thumbs down. Who knows about the Industrial Revolution? Who does? Send a thumbs up. Okay, fantastic. Fine, we've got some people on the call who know that. Now, it took 80 years for the Industrial Revolution to reshape industries. 20 years and 80 years. And what that means is we moved from handcrafted tools to machine-driven, manufacturing. And now what we're seeing is that the way AI is moving, the scale at which it's moving is so much faster than anything that we have ever seen in the history of humanity. AI is doing what it took the Industrial Revolution 80 years to do. It's doing it in less than 5 years. And that is why, as a professional who is serious about staying on top of trends, who is serious about having skills that makes you a beast in the job market, the kind of skills that ensures that you are never out of a job and you are always on top of the shortage, those kind of skills, you cannot ignore AI, because whether or not you like it, it is changing the way people work. Now, What are the differences between someone who has AI skills and someone who doesn't have AI skills? There are differences, by the way, because you might think, well, it's just, you knowing how to prompt. Now, AI is so much more than that. I want to put things into perspective for you. First of all, without AI skills, you're in Nigeria, you're going to be earning, say, 120K, maybe in some cases even less, to 400,000. That's a typical range. Sometimes you see higher, but what truly helps you break the bank is AI skills, because it opens you up to global roles that pay in dollars. And this is where you're going to be seeing things like 1,500, you're going to be seeing 5,000 a month just for you to get remote contracts. And they're typically called contracts. They're called contractors. That's because you're not like a full-time employee, so there's no like health benefits and things like that. But this is what it requires for you to break into this industry. I'm going to let you do what the conversion is in your head. Now, without AI skills, you are limited to the local job market. That's because nobody wants to hire anyone who doesn't understand how to use AI. I want to put things into perspective for you. You are a business owner and you have a role that is open. You need a salesperson. Now, because your revenue is only at, Michael said millions, or because you need to hit X revenue in the next 1 year. However, you only have the budget to hire one person. I'm throwing this question to the house, by the way. Will you hire candidate A, who has no knowledge of AI skills, but by the way, is a very good salesperson, but this person doesn't know how to use AI tools, doesn't understand how to build automations, and yeah, they're just like a traditional salesperson? Or candidate B. Candidate B is fantastic at automation. Candidate B understands the psychology of sales and understands how to apply AI to it as well. Now, with candidate B, you can even automate your customer support flow. It means that with candidate B can build an agent. So when people land on your website, that agent is answering the messages. Candidate B can build an agent that when people call, they are speaking to an AI, and it means that you don't have to hire a support agent. However, candidate A doesn't have those skills. Would you hire candidate A or candidate B? Who would you go for? I'm throwing this question to the house. Candidate A is fantastic at sales, super. Let's even say candidate A is 20% better at sales than candidate B. Why would you go for, okay, everybody's saying candidate B. So Henry, you said candidate A. I'm very curious on why you said candidate A. Okay, we're seeing a lot of Bs. Now, the reason why as a product and tech leader, I would certainly go for candidate B, and I'm going to tell you why. It's not because, okay, Henry said he meant candidate B. I'm not going to go for candidate B because I gave this example myself. I'm going to go for candidate B because of very clear, specific things. Number one, candidate B can use AI as a force multiplier. If I hire candidate B, that's going to save me, say, like 3-4 roles, because candidate B knows how to use AI. Now, a real story, I have a friend she was handling, when she was working in a Canadian company. And when she first got in, they did not know how to sell online. So she basically built their e-commerce store. She helped them build their Shopify store, and she helped them put a bunch of things online. At the time when she joined them, they were only running a hardware store. So she helped them put a bunch of things online, and then it began to grow. She found a bunch of AI tools that could automate a lot of their processes online, because remember, nothing existed when she came in. And then after a while, they realized that because they were shipping more orders than they usually shipped, they now needed to add another function, which was supply chain. So she also stepped into supply chain. So you might be wondering, how in the world was she able to handle Shopify? And then she was also shipping at least 500 items every single month, and then also handle the supply chain function as well. I'll tell you why. It's because she was powered by AI. Now, this is the crazy part. Eventually, she kind of had a falling out with the company, so she had to leave. When she left, do you know how many roles they had to hire for to replace that one person who left? Can anybody guess? Do you know how many roles? Because at this moment, they had already picked up, so they were making about 200K. That's just on the Shopify store, selling online. So this one person was basically a force multiplier in their team and was picking up the job of multiple people. It was just one person. Can anyone guess how many roles they had to? Right on the money. Adedamola is right on the money. 3 roles. They had to hire, number 1, a procurement manager. They had to hire, number 2, a supply chain manager. And then they also had to hire an e-commerce manager as well. And this is because when she left, all of her automation left with her. And the company had such a hard time finding people who were going to fill the role and take over from her before she left, before her handover was done. And this is exactly what happens to candidates who understand how to use AI as a force multiplier. And she was able to even walk away from them and say, you know what, hasta la vista, I'm done with this, because she was a beast in the market and she knew it. And it didn't take her long to find another job. Now, without AI skills, you go through manual and repetitive workflows. So you're doing the same thing over and over again. But with AI skills, you allow AI handle 80% of manual work. I was in an interview with a candidate recently, and I asked him, how do you use AI in your workflows? Because I don't hire people who don't know how to use AI. And what he said was that he mentioned that he uses AI to book certain meetings. And that's something that I've never even thought about before. One of the things I hate the most is booking meetings. And it's a very simple thing. You just go to your Google Calendar, you click here, you book a meeting. That's all. But when he explained the way he uses it to me, I said something to him. I said, the people who use AI the best are lazy people. And that's because when you don't want to do something, you will find the laziest way to do it. And I said, I'm definitely going to be stealing this one. So when you are automating all of those things that AI can literally do, it frees time for you to focus on strategic things. It allows you to spend your energy on things that actually need your energy. Now, without AI skills, you are also competing with hundreds of CVs. However, with AI skills, your profile is differentiated and it's in demand. The first thing is that AI can literally help you break through what we call the applicant tracking system barrier. AI is not just for nice prompts, change my picture, change my background, increase my resolution, remove my X from the back. Nah, AI has so much more fantastic use cases, and one of them is optimizing your resume. So people can use AI to optimize their resume, and you can also use AI to literally step up your game. So by the time you start to add like really interesting AI names to your profile, for example, like NA10, when you are applying for certain jobs, it would literally pick you out as not the regular candidate. You are the kind of candidate who is on top of workflows, on top of trends, and understand what is actually moving the market. Now, another thing is that without AI skills, your salary will hit its ceiling really fast. What that means is this is all you can do. There is nothing more to it. You can't go higher than this because nobody's going to pay you to go higher than this. Because what else are you offering? What are you offering that I cannot get from somebody else? However, with AI, you literally 3 times to 10 times your income trajectory. Like I said, you become a beast in the market. I gave an example of my friend who walked away from a job in Canada, and it didn't take her long. In a week, she was hired. She was working as a consultant, and then in a week, she had a full-time job, and it was paying her over 100K. So she's very, very comfortable doing that. And the only reason why she was like, you know what, I'm going to walk away from this is because she understands the value that she has in the market. And then even moving to the new role, what she said was that I realized that where I was doing the job of 3 people, I was being seriously underpaid. Because when she moved, she was able to 4 times her salary just by the single act of moving. So that's why it's so important that you build your AI skills and you are not one of those who remains traditional while the rest of the world is moving in a different way. Now, 92 million jobs will be displaced by 2 2030, by 2030, 92 million jobs. What that means is that 92 million jobs that exist right now as we are speaking are going to be displayed. I'm going to show you what some of those jobs look like and what will be replacing them. But you know the brilliant thing about this is that while these 92 million jobs are being displaced, the same report, this is directly from the World Economic Forum, the same report is saying that 170 million new jobs will emerge. And this is why I told you at the start that in as much as AI is changing industries and it's erasing jobs that have existed for quite some time, it is also replacing them with more jobs, more opportunities. But the question is, are you in line for that? Now, an example of the kind of jobs that are being replaced, number one is data entry and filing. Data entry and filing. This is literally one of the most basic things that anybody can do. But I want to test our AI knowledge on the call. Who can tell me why data entry and filing is being transformed by AI? Is there anyone on the call who can tell me why data entry and filing is being transformed by AI? Anyone? I just need one person. Anyone? You can just type it in the chat section. Can anyone tell me why data entry and filing is being transformed by AI? One person. You can type it in the chat section, or you can raise a hand if you want to speak. Okay. Nancy said, because it is done manually. Exactly. It is such a manual process. Nobody wants to do this anymore. Now, what is replacing this are what we call AI automation specialists. Inspired Design said it minimizes error and increases accuracy. Olabi said it wastes time. Exactly. So we're looking at the data entry and filing process. It can be such a manual thing to do. You're collecting data from one place, you're funneling that's the word, Ayodeji, nail on the head, repetitive. And one of the biggest, if you're looking for the kind of jobs that can easily be replaced by AI, it comes down to one thing: workflows that you can do over and over again. That doesn't require critical thinking. If it doesn't require critical thinking, AI will replace it like this, because you can put that workflow on a loop. That's what it means. So data entry and filing is being replaced by AI automation specialists. Now let's look at basic accounting. What is replacing your typical accountant are AI data analysts. Even the tools that they are using now for data analysis is now upgrading and becoming AI powered. So it means that if you're just using like basic accounting, maybe you just use Excel, someone who knows how to use Google Sheets, Canvas in Google Sheets, someone who knows how to automate workflows from Google Sheet directly to Power BI to Tableau is going to completely erase you from the market. Someone who knows how to build workflows with N8N and connects different pipelines and show what the output is, and do this in days, not weeks, is going to replace the person who is still doing basic accounting. Then we have administrative tasks. This is getting replaced by AI business analysts. And that's because they are always looking at things like, how can we 4x our revenue? How can we 4x our gross profit? How do we take our revenue from X amount to X amount? And to do that, they will automate whatever it is they can automate and design workflows to make them seamless. Say, hey, how can we save more money here? And it's so much easier for them to do it because they are literally powered by AI. Then we also have report generation. Report generation is being replaced by AI content strategists. Standard customer service is being replaced by AI project managers. So what this means is these are people who basically understand how to design workflows to replace most of this. They understand how they can put in pipelines, plug it in, and then just let the system run. I'm sure you must have seen things like, oh, how I fully automated my YouTube page, I just plugged this in and I plugged this tool in. This one generates the script. This one creates the videos. And then this one is connected to my YouTube account, and it updates it every single day. One video is created. Oh, and I also run ads as well. I connected Claude to my ads account. Claude is constantly optimizing my ads for me. All I do every morning is I just wake up and I open my laptop and I'm checking how much money I have made. There are people who are designing workflows that literally required a team of 20 people for you to get done before, and just like a one-man army. That's why you cannot say, oh, I don't need AI. Everybody needs AI. Everybody needs AI. Now, we have different categories that have been created since 2023, and it is only going to explode the more. Now, I want you to keep something in mind. What you're seeing on my screen this is just an estimation. There are people who earn higher than this. Some of them will charge for a contract. Some of them get employed full time. So it depends on what you are looking for. And then another thing is that some of them, it depends on how they package themselves in the market. Because the way you package yourself in the market is the way they're going to treat you. You walk into an interview and you say that you're an AI-powered data analyst and you want to command a 5K salary monthly. How do you carry yourself? How do you speak? How do you show your portfolio? What kind of workflows have you done? What is the skill that is backing this up? How experienced are you when it comes to powering workflows with AI, data workflows? Are you a problem solver? If I'm making 200K annually, can you give me 500K? How exactly are you going to solve that problem for me and close my existing gap? So what you are seeing here is 100% possible. This is from the lowest range to what we will typically have as the highest range. And then there are people who completely shatter what you are looking at here. Everything just depends on one thing: the way you package yourself. I'm going to give an example. So you walk into a store and you've got sweet. You've got a nice sweet. One of them is packaged in a lovely jar. It's got really cute, lovely colors on it. It's even got a lovely bow tie on it, and that's going for $100. It's got 100 packs of sweets in it. $100. That's what it's going for. And then the other one on the shelf is just like a Ziploc bag. That's it. It's a Ziploc bag, and then it's got a sticker on it. It's got 200 sweets in it, and that's it. Just a Ziploc bag. It's got 200 sweets in it. Meanwhile, the other one is 100. It comes in a really nice container. It's got fantastic packaging. It breaks down the calories that are in there for you. It breaks down the servings that you're getting per every candy bar that you take out of it. Which one are you going to go for? Are you going to go for the one that's packaged really nicely and even has like its expiry date on it? It's got really cute colors. It's got a bow on it. Or are you going to go for the one in the Ziploc bag? Which one are you going for? A or B? I'd like to hear what you think about it. Are you going for A or are you going for B? Maybe the B is priced at, say, $80. $80, while A, the one with the beautiful package, is going for $100. Okay, so Adedamola said he's going to go for A. So in a nutshell, what this means is that your packaging is the one that is packaged nicely. As humans, we are drawn to what some people would call vanity. It's what is packaged nicely is what draws me in. But in this case, as someone who is looking to take themselves serious, you want to break the job market. And when I say break it, I mean that you want to find the best opportunities. This is your lock-in season. You want to start earning between this range. You want to break the barriers of what you've always earned. Maybe you're in Nigeria and you feel like you've never really been appreciated. You've always been earning like 200K, 400K, 500K for a job that you know that if you take this abroad, you earn more. Now, when you pair that with AI, your odds shoot up. But then when you pair that with employability skills, which is number one, I know where to find these jobs. Number two, I know how to package myself and apply for these jobs. Your chances are significantly increased. So keep that in mind as we go on. So now we're looking at the range, the date range between 2024 and 2027. It's what I would call the premium era. right now we have what we call scarcity. There's scarcity. It means that people cannot find enough people with AI talent. But that is good news for you. That is good news for you. However, by the time we reach 2027, between 2027 to 2029, what's going to happen is we're going to see this. It tanks. The market starts to fill up and then premium starts to compress. It means that more people know how to use AI, more people know how to use these skills. It means that you're not going to be getting premium salary for these jobs anymore. Remember that we already established that what makes price go up is when there is scarcity. However, when there's no scarcity, okay, for example, what happens when there's no fuel in Nigeria? What happens? The price goes up. That's what happens. When there's no fuel, price goes up. But then when there's fuel, anybody can walk into a station and fill up their tank. So you want to ensure that you are getting in on this while there's a lot of opportunities and before AI skills become baseline. And I guarantee you 2030 is much closer than you think. Before you know it, everybody and their mom and their sister is going to know how to use AI. Every Gen Z and Gen Alpha down the road is going to know how to use AI because they're literally being raised on this stuff. So where's that going to leave people who are waiting? If you don't act today, you are going to be one of those who is looking at people who actually acted and who are way ahead. Way ahead. They have built the experience, they have built the skills, they have built the connections, but you are just getting started in 2-3 years, or maybe even in 6 months. The best time for you to get in on this, on the AI market, I would advise it is today, right now. So I have prepared this really interesting workflow for us. I just want to show us how to do something real quick. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be using Claude. That's what we're going to be using. And we're going to use Claude to build something very simple. Now, the idea of this is I want to be employable in the market. Now, for us to run this test, I need a resume. I need a CV. I need one person to share their CV with me on the call. Do we have one person who wants to share their CV with me on the call? One person. You can raise your hand. We're going to be using your CV to run the test. One person. Okay. Oh, we've got 2 people. Okay. Oh, we've got 3. All right. That's still fine. We've got 4 now. Okay. All right. I'm gonna drop my email in the chat. This is my email, lola@10analytics.org. Please share your resumes with me, lola@10analytics.org. Share your resumes with me so I can pick out your resume. So while you're doing that, and that's for everyone who has indicated that they would love me to run their resume through the new system that I'm building. Now, when I do this, I'm going to pick one person and we are going to run an interview simulation, just a quick test, okay? So I've dropped my email in the chat section. Please share your resume with my email. And set it for anybody can view, just so that when I want to view it, I can view it, okay? I've dropped my email in the chat section. All right. Now, does anybody on the call know Claude? Does anybody know Claude? If you don't know Claude, you can send a thumbs down. Do you know Claude? Send a thumbs up if you do. Okay, Chidi knows Claude, Gideon. Does anyone, Samuel, you don't know Claude? Geez, okay, Adaize, but don't worry, you're going to know Claude today. All right, so this is Claude.ai. Anybody can use it. It's literally free. Claude has different kinds of models. It's got Opus, Sonnet, Haiku, and a range of others. You don't need the advanced model. So the advanced model will eat your tokens. They call it tokens. It will eat your token. Okay, Michael said I use ChatGPT. That's nice. The only thing with ChatGPT is that It's free models. I find them extremely dumb. So unless you are paying for it, you have to pay for it before you can access like super intelligent models. And then when it comes to building HTML systems inside of the ecosystem, it's completely different. The experience, the user experience is completely different compared to Claude, which is why I prefer to use Claude for this. I'm going to show you how you can, there's a prompt for this. I already have the prompt prepared, and there are different ways that you can edit this prompt. Don't worry about it. I can share this prompt with you. Now, the idea of this prompt is based on, this resume and target role, analyze how AI and automation are reshaping, yada, yada, yada. So the thing is that Claude is going to be building something for me. It's going to be building a tool that I can use to test this out myself. There's a more detailed prompt. I have the documents, and I'm going to be sharing it with everyone on the call, which is one of the reasons why I'm saying that you need to fill out the documents that you need to fill out the attendance form that my colleagues are dropping in the chat section. Okay, so fill out the attendance form that my colleagues are dropping in the chat section so you can gain access to this. Okay. So just a minute. All right, so now Claude is going to run a test and it's going to show us how we can do this. Okay. Oh, I think I've messed up my prompt. Let me just go here. So I've got my code here. This is the HTML. This is why I said I'm going to share this with you in a document. And then when I paste my code, I'm also going to paste my instruction as well inside the code. All right. So remember, you only need to use the free model. You don't have to do anything complicated. You can just use Sonnet for this, and then you can set the effort to high. Okay. So I'm going to tell Claude to build a tool for me to run the below. Okay, very simple. The network is very poor at my end. I can barely listen to the lecture. So Michael, this is one of the reasons why I'm telling people to fill out the form. So fill out the attendance form. This is being recorded. So just in case at any point you have to drop off, unfortunately, don't worry about it. You can always catch up with the video. We're going to be sending that to you. So don't worry about it. But you can try dropping off and then joining again to see whether or not you can access it. So what is happening right now is that Claude is building this tool for me. Now, one thing about AI is that even though the AI is the same, the AI I have is the same with the AI that you have. When you go to Claude.ai, our output is completely different. And that's because based on the quality of prompts that you run in it, that's exactly what it's going to spit out to you. So it's all about the kind of prompts that you run. Some people don't even know just how much they can do with AI. So what I've done here is that I have built a tool that will show me just how much AI exposure I have. It's going to map out, look at my resume, and then it's going to tell me, hey, there are opportunities here for you to do X, 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 and then these are things that you can learn. So the AI tools that you need to learn in order for you to become competitive in the market. That's what we just built. Now, I want to use some people's resume to test this out so we can see how this works in real time using actual data. All right, so have we shared our resumes? Fantastic. I can see a bunch of resumes. So I'm just going to pick the first one I see here, which is Solomon. I see Omni Jerry Oje. I'm just going to show us what this resume looks like. This is Omni Jerry Oje. Omni, apologies. Omoni Jerry Oje. Okay, so this is Jerry's resume. And now I'm just going to copy Jerry's resume. Okay, so this is it. I'm going to copy Jerry's resume, and then I'm going to go back to the tool that we've just built. And then we are going to test it out. So now remember what we have built here. Now, what this does is that, number one, it can help me search for live roles. If you were in my last session, you would know that we did something like that, where it could help us search for live roles. So basically just scouring the internet to look for jobs that are within the industry. If you did not get access to the prompt documents, don't worry about it. We're also going to be including that prompt as well, as a resource that's going to be going out to everyone who fill out the form. Now, what this is going to do here is that it's going to map all of the opportunities I have. Now, let's look at Jerry's resume again real quick, and then we are going to come back to look at the AI opportunities that exist for Jerry. And this is also particularly fantastic for people who are like, I'm not sure what the next step for me in AI is. What do I do? I know that AI is changing the industry. I know that AI is changing markets, but what should I be learning in AI? What is important to me? What is relevant for me? And that's why this is very important. Now, if you look at Jerry's background, Jerry is a customer support officer. So everything that Jerry is leaning towards is customer support. So what Jerry needs is to up his game when it comes to customer support. Now, off the top of my head, I'm already thinking about a lot of things that Jerry can do here. If I was in a one-on-one consultation with Jerry and Jerry was telling me about, his experience, if he shared his resume with me while we're having a call, I would tell Jerry that, Jerry, I think you should go for AI automation. And that's because when it comes to support, there are so many opportunities in AI automation. But let's see if AI agrees with me. Let's see. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT, to Claude. Michael confused me. All right. So first of all, what this has done is that it has highlighted the automation that Jerry needs to learn. So this is what is going to make Jerry fantastic in the market. Remember, we've just run Jerry's resume through this, and we've mapped Jerry's AI exposure. Now his result is 62 over 100. Okay, so what it's now saying here is that AI already handles or augments roughly half of OJE's tier 1 tasks, which is things like FAQ responses, ticket triage, CSAT tracking, and other status lookups. So this is very important. Basically, it's saying that most of what OJ is doing, AI is already doing it. And there's basically a breakdown of what AI is doing on tier 1. But then we now move to tier 2, which is automation. These are suggestions for Jerry. What should Jerry be learning? So what Jerry is getting here is that, first of all, he can learn how to build a no-code Zendesk trigger and macro workflows for ticket auto routing. Now imagine you have a project like this in your resume, Jerry. Just imagine. Now, it's also suggesting that Jerry learns how to design N8N or make.com flows to sync with CRM data with support ticket updates. So basically a breakdown. There are also tools here that Jerry needs to know. So it's saying, hey, Jerry, for you to become competitive in the market, these are your non-negotiables. Zendesk AI, learn how to use Copilot plus AI agents. Learn how to use Intercom Fin AI agents. Learn how to use Freshdesk Freddy AI. Learn how to use N8N. So with N8N, let me tell you an example of what Jerry can do with N8N. With N8N, Jerry can automate an entire business support to a point where they don't even have to hire anyone to handle their support anymore. Like imagine if you had, say, a team of 20 support personnel. Oladele is asking if you can. Absolutely, Oladele, you can do this on your phone. The experience is just much smoother. It's just much smoother when you use your laptop, but you can absolutely do this on your phone. I'm going to simulate what it looks like if I'm using my phone for this, but this is what you'd be seeing if you are using your phone. Can you see this? So it's going to look something like this. If you're using maybe your tab, or if you're using your phone, you're going to see it on the side of your screen, looking just like this. All right. Okay, fantastic. Now, All of these are suggestions for Jerry. Jerry can literally take NA10 and he can say, you know what, I'm going to automate your entire workflow. Jerry is going to get a database of Q&A, questions and answers. And then Jerry can design a workflow that says, look, if you ask X question, this one triggers. If you ask X question, this moves to a human. If you ask X question, a robot answers this and resolves the ticket. To give you more context into it, there's this fintech tool that's called what is it called again? My goodness, I've forgotten. I've forgotten what they're called, but they're a buy now, pay later system. I've forgotten. It's like Replit something. It does not come into mind. But point is that they had when AI first came out in 2024, they were one of those who jumped on the train for automation, and they did something incredible with AI. So they were one of the first people who automated their entire support team using AI. And what happened was that same year they hit their first $1 billion. I'm probably going to remember before this call is over, and then I'm going to tell you people the name. I'm going to tell you guys the name, but that's the cool thing about AI. So you can literally use AI to automate all of these workflows. Now, if Jerry has this knowledge, Jerry becomes a force to contend with in the market. Now, imagine Jerry applying for a job and the person that he's competing with has all of this listed on their resume. Do you think that Jerry will stand out, or do you think they will go for the other candidates? Who would they go for? Who would you go for? Would you go for a candidate who knows how to use ADA, a no-code, multi-step AI resolution agent, who knows how to use NA10, who knows how to use make.com, who knows how to use FreshDesk Freddy AI? Would you go for this candidate over Jerry? Yes or no? And you can tell me yes, you can tell me no, whichever one. What do you think? Which one would impress a hiring manager more? A candidate who is in the support industry, who knows how to use all of these workflows, or just your everyday support agent? Okay, so I see we're all saying yes, exactly. And this is why AI makes you super powerful. All right, I'm going to be using another resume now to run this test. Let's see. I'm just going to randomly choose Tosin Samuel. All right. Tosin Samuel, are you on the call? Tosin Samuel, you can send a thumbs up if you're on the call. Send a thumbs up. Okay, we've got Tosin Samuel on the call. So let me show you what Tosin Samuel's resume looks like. So this is Tosin Samuel Adisa, and I'm just going to copy your resume. So what we can see here is that Tosin is in facility management, administrative operations, education, and records management. All right. So now we're going to run Tosin's resume through this system that we have just built in Claude. We call it the pipeline scan. That's what we're going to run Tosin's resume through. Let's take a look at what the results that we're going to get. Okay. So this is this is Jerry's resume. Let me just copy this again. Okay. I think we've got it right this time. This is Tosin's. Okay. So I'm just going to say operations management for target role. Operations management. All right. Let's map Tosin's AI exposure. It's going to run for a couple of minutes, searching current AI tools and automation for this role. Okay. And then he's also going to take a look at his resume as well, pick out specific keywords and say, how can Tosin up his game? So now what we're getting here is 62 over 100 AI exposure. That is incredibly high. That means that 62% of what Tosin does is already exposed to AI. So you see that small space. What is left is the space that Tosin is playing in, and that's incredibly dangerous. So what we're seeing right now that AI already handles is things like weekly budget allocation, It already handles this. So you don't have to do this by yourself. Dynamic revenue pricing and demand forecasting, recruitment screening, resume parsing, all of this is being taken out directly from what Tosin has inside of his resume. And then we now have suggestions for Tosin as well. How can Tosin step up his game and become a force to contend with in the market? So tools for Tosin include tools like cloud bed signals, which is AI revenue forecasting, dynamic pricing, and guest marketing for hotel operations. We have tools like Workable, we have tools like Microsoft Power BI, like Bamboo HR, like Planful. All of these are the kind of tools that people who are hiring for the roles that Tosin is targeting are going to be looking for in his resume. So one of the values of this is that you don't have to start asking yourself, well, where do I fit in? How do I plug into this system? What is relevant for me? You can simply take your existing resume and you can run it through the system. You can see your level of exposure. How exposed am I in the market? And then you can see the automations that you need to learn. What is important for you? For example, Tosin needs to learn prompt engineering for operational report drafting and stakeholder communication. For Tosin, I would actually recommend AI automation, because AI automation is going to connect everything that he already does and help him create proper streamlines for his work and help him streamline all of his workflows. That's what I would suggest. So it's a very direct, very simple system. Anybody can build it. I'm going to be sharing this with you. I'm going to share this with you so you can build this in your own Claude. The fantastic thing is that you don't even need the super smart model. You can do this with Sonnet 4.6. Just set the model to high and anybody can run it. So if you're interested in gaining access to the document where we have the prompt, you can send a thumbs up. You can also write a yes in the chat section. Or if you're not, you can just set a thumbs down. You can say, oh, I don't need it. I think I'm fine with where I'm at. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of yes. All right. Interesting. We're very interested. I'm excited because I love to see people who are getting it. I want to take control, step into a new industry, and I'm going to do everything that I need to do to accomplish that. Fantastic. Love it. So you're going to be getting this prompt. When you get it, I implore you, please practice, build this in Claude, but not just for fun. You're not building for fun. You are building because you are ready to actually become AI proof. How do you ensure that AI does not replace you and you are not one of those 92 million jobs that AI will completely erase? This is the only way you can stay competitive. And it's not Lola telling you, it's not me telling you, because maybe you think I'm trying to tell you something. It is literally your AI telling you the level of exposure that you have. All right. So I see that we still have some hands up. I'm going to come back if we have any questions. I'm going to take those questions. Unfortunately, I cannot run everyone's resume through it. I wish I could, but that's why you are also getting the prompt, so you can run your resume through it as well. And as a bonus, I'm also going to throw in a prompt for a resume builder, a proper resume builder as well. So you can also build your resume properly, because while I was looking through some resumes, I noticed a couple of errors. Okay, so let's move on. Now we have an alumni called Olusegun. Olusegun came into Tenalytics and Olusegun completed his program. And the same month he completed his program, Olusegun got a remote job in Canada. So Olusegun was working from Nigeria, and all the way from Nigeria, he got a job in Canada. So how did Olusegun do it? I had a candidate a participant who was asking me the last time, it's going to be incredibly difficult for me to get a job because I'm in Nigeria and I want to get a job out of the country. So how do I accomplish that? And what I told him is, it's very possible for that to happen. However, you need a system. Now I'm going to walk you through Olusegun's story, and how Olusegun was able to get the results that he wanted. So the first thing is, how did Olusegun build foreign work experience? Because one thing to note is that if you're looking for a job outside of the country, especially in target countries like the UK, Canada, the US, they will not hire you if you don't have local experience, which is like a catch-22, right? If you don't hire me, how in the world would I build the experience that I need? But nobody wants to hire people who don't have context of the market. And that eventually becomes a problem. I'm going to show you how. Now, first of all, is that Olusegun built his experience. He built his experience, and then he also built, excuse me, so Olusegun built his experience by working on projects in class. That's one of the first things that he did. So let me put this into perspective for you. Let's say you are part of Tenalytics and you come into our community. You've got 8 weeks, by the way, 8 weeks. That 8 weeks, what you are doing is you are learning, but while you are learning, you are also building, because remember, the employability aspect is very important. So what exactly are you building? Number one, you are building your project. Your project goes into your portfolio. So when you are applying for these jobs, you can say, I have done something like this before. I have context on this market. I have context in this industry. And this is what I have built before. So while you are learning, you are also building at the same time. You cannot be serious about looking for a job and you do not have a portfolio. I'm going to show you an example of a portfolio. So if you want to get a job, one of the first things that you need is a portfolio. When recruiters are looking at your resume, they're going to be checking for your portfolio. So I do something when I'm looking at candidates' profiles. By default, I'm looking for two things. Number one, I'm looking for their LinkedIn. And then number two, I'm looking for their portfolio. The LinkedIn, this is one of the reasons why LinkedIn optimization is very important. So if you're looking for a job, your LinkedIn profile picture has to be very professional. Your about has to be very professional. It also has to be updated. It's one of the ways you know people who are very serious with their lives. So I look at their LinkedIn profiles, and then I also check their portfolio. You know why? Portfolio makes my life very easy. It makes my life easy because I don't have to guess if the candidate has done something like that before. For example, in Tenalytics, if I'm looking for an AI data analyst, and if Amazon is looking for a data analyst, what we are looking for is very different. Amazon is going to be looking for an AI-powered data analyst who has e-commerce context. What I'm looking for is a candidate who understands the edtech industry. They are not the same. And this is one of the reasons why your portfolio is very important. If your portfolio is tailored for the market that you are applying to, even better. So imagine that you were a recruiter just scrolling through a candidate's portfolio here, and you can actually click to view more. You can research what they've done before. You can see more details on it. This tells you whether or not this candidate is someone that you want to take a chance on. And if you know anything about hiring, you know that hiring is such a stressful process. You don't want to waste your time talking to candidates who do not have the skills that you are looking for. Now, that is one. Now, how did Olusegun apply to jobs? How did Olusegun apply to jobs? Because where in the world is he getting these? Where did he get the job from? How is it that he was in Nigeria and he was able to get a remote job all the way in Canada when people keep saying, there are no jobs, there are no jobs? So he leveraged a couple of job boards. Number one, he used job boards like Outlier, like JobGather, like Micro One. He used job boards like UK Visa Jobs, Built-in, Remote Rocket Ships. There are a bunch of others. There are job boards like Himalayas and a bunch of others. Does anyone on the call know Remote Rocket Ship? If you do, you can send a thumbs up. There's remotes.co. There's a bunch of jobs. Okay, fantastic. Okay, do you know Himalayas? Send a thumbs up if you do. Does anyone know Himalayas? Anyone? Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Now, another thing I'm going to be sharing with you all is a prompt that I built I believe it was last week, and I shared that with the people on the call. So you can use that to pull jobs into your atmosphere. What that means is that you don't have to go and start looking for jobs to apply to. You can build the system inside of Claude, and then you can run a search to pull jobs from whatever job boards they are on. If it is on LinkedIn, if it is on Indeed, if it is on the company's career page, you can pull it in there, get direct links for you to apply to the jobs. So you don't have to start searching remote rocket ship and others. Okay, so he leveraged all of these job boards. Now, one thing I want you to keep in mind is that when you're looking for a job, it is a job on its own. You cannot be looking for a job and you're only applying to one job in a day. You're applying to one job in 3 days. You're not serious about it. If you're serious about looking for a job, you have to take that process as looking for a job on its own. And this is one of the reasons why AI is so important, because it just makes the workflow so much easier for you. Now, that's one of the first things that he did. He leveraged job boards for remote jobs. He leveraged job boards where they were looking for contractors and others. Now, another thing that he did as well was, by the time he got a job, he was also able to reach out to us to provide him with a reference. So we provided him with a reference, and that's part of the things that we do at Tenalytics. You do not have to, because for a lot of people, one thing they're looking for, and the one thing they would need by the time they get to the point of, oh, you're getting the job offer, is you're going to need reference. And you're going to need reference from your most recent experience. You can also list Tenalytics as an experience, and you can come back to us and say, hey, I need reference. We were actually in a session recently, and one of our students, she's in Canada, she was talking about how it was very competitive for her, the first job that she got, and how at the end of the day, what it came down to was reference. So they had a bunch of fantastic candidates, and it came down to who has the best reference. When they called us, we spoke her praises to heavens and back again, and she got the job. So this is one reason why it's important for you to not just come in for, oh, I want to learn a brand new skill. You also have a range of employability features as well, and we empower you for jobs by also providing you with fantastic references. So with Tenalytics, you can literally say, I have worked in Canada. I have experience in Canada, in Alberta, Canada. I automated XXX for Tenalytics, and I built this project while I was in Tenalytics. So that way you already have business, you have context on the industry, you have context in the Western market. You don't have to go, I've never worked with someone in the US before, I've never worked with someone in Canada before. You can literally use that as your reference, and then you can reach out to us to say, I need reference by the time it's when it's time for you to get the job. And of course, we'll sing your praises, like I said, to heaven and back again. Now, you don't need to be a tech person to win with AI. I'm going to say that again. You don't need to be a tech person for you to win with AI. You don't need a computer degree. You don't need to know how to code. Okay, I'm seeing Vera Frank is saying, what about some of us that are beginners? That is fantastic, Vera. We work with beginners all the time. I would say like 95% of the people who walk into our doors are all beginners. So they had no background in tech, they have no idea what they are doing, and they say, look, I need you to point the direction for me. And we have done that over 4,000 times. Now, you don't need to learn how to code. You don't need to know how to code. If you know how to code, that's fantastic. If you don't know how to code, that's also fantastic. That's the beauty of AI. AI has completely broken down those barriers. You don't need to be an engineer for you to know how to use AI. Or you can say something like, I'm too old, or maybe I'm too young. One of our youngest students, his name is Christian. Christian came in and learned data analysis. Christian was about 16 at the time, or 15, when he joined us. He graduated and he got a job in about 2 months. It was his brother who recognized his talent and said, look, I'm going to sign you up. And he signed Christian up, and Christian got a job. He's a teenager. very young when he got the job. But the company looked at Christian and said, you know what, we're going to take a chance on you because you know what you are doing. He provided them with his portfolio. He had fantastic reference. He interviewed well. His resume was stellar. His profile, his positioning was also stellar. The oldest person that has gotten a job, I think the oldest person would most likely be probably in his 60s or so. But that also proves to you that age is not a barrier when it comes to AI. What companies are looking for is competency. Like I said, competence over credentials. Then I'm going to just show you, like, real quick, I'm just going to show you a story. This is Pavel. By the way, Pavel is like one of our students. It's just like Olusegun. Pavel came in and he got a job as a healthcare data analyst. When he came in, he needed direction. The first thing that he did was he completed our data analytics program. Umar is saying Nigerians don't have access to Outlier. Yes, that is true in some cases. That is true, but that doesn't apply to others. So it depends on the country that you are in. If you're in Nigeria, it applies. If maybe you're in Kenya, maybe you're in Uganda, it doesn't necessarily apply to you. So keep that in mind. All right. So first thing that Pavel did was that Pavel learned. So he completed the data analytics package, he tailored his resume, and he joined every mentorship session. Then he packaged his profile. Remember when I said that your packaging is very important? This is a critical part of you getting job offers. So he packaged his profile. He had the portfolio. He got prepped. So one thing that we also offer students as well, or our participants, is multiple interview preps. So you can come in, you have 10 job interviews, you can take an interview prep with us. You have 100 job interviews, you can take 100 interview preps with us. Then he applied, but it wasn't just application alone. It was tailoring his application. So he applied in a very deliberate way. He applied to the jobs that he wanted. He tailored his resume. He read the job description, and that was how Pavel got the job that he wanted. So keep in mind that when you are looking for a job, when you are looking to transition, it's not just about going to, oh, I'm just going to learn a brand new skill and I'm going to start applying. Nah, there is a science to it, like I said. It's why you see a lot of skilled people who don't have jobs because they don't understand the science behind that. Pavel got the job because he paired the skills and the employability together. And he did this in less than 3 months after completing his program. You could be Pavel. I could walk you through a bunch of stories. There's also Bukola as well. Bukola needed a bunch of interview preps for her data role in the US. By the way, Bukola got 2 jobs. She got 2 jobs. When people are looking for one, Bukola got 2 jobs. Her first role was the business analyst. Her second role was as a data business analyst in July. Okay, so everything I've just shown you, Inspired Designs is saying, I'm sorry, I have to drop off. I have a low battery. That's fine. You fill the form. Okay. So the next thing after this is for you to get started in one of our cohorts. I'm about to show what that looks like. So if you've got the next 5 minutes to stay on the call, I'm going to quickly run us through what this looks like. Okay. So we've got different tracks that you can get started with. We have generative AI for data analysis. We've got generative AI for business analysis and project management. We've got generative AI for HR analytics. So just like their names imply, the tracks are different. So if you want to go for AI for data analysis, it's going to be tailored to data analytics. So if you're like Solomon, who has knowledge in data analysis, then you want to go for generative AI for data analysis because the background is already there. However, it does depend on what you are specifically looking to accomplish. And then we have generative AI for business analysis and for project management, and then generative AI for HR analytics. Then we also have AI for automation engineering, We have AI for video creation, and then we also have AI for software development. So automation engineering is when you are connecting different moving parts together. I'm just going to turn off my camera for a minute, but I'm still here. It's when you're connecting different moving parts together. For example, like the N810 I've been talking about for quite some time. So you know how to connect different moving parts and use that to build a system. We also have generative AI for video creation as well. So some of those really super interesting videos that you've seen on the internet, you can use this to create videos. A lot of people use this to automate their revenue. So for example, you can connect this to your YouTube channel. There's so many interesting things that you can do when you know how to create videos with AI. So a lot of people would create, maybe you're a content creator, maybe you want to become an influencer and you don't want to use your face. So a lot of times you'd find people going for a track like this. We've also got generative AI for software development. I was talking to a friend recently, and our conversation was inspired by an article that I read. And it was just basically talking about how AI has completely changed the market when it comes to development. So before, developing was a big thing. It was a big deal. You want to build a product, you're going to have to go get a developer. You're going to have to get a QA engineer. But now all you need is a vibe coder. One person can do the job of a team of people if they know the right tools to use. So depending on the track that you want to go for, if you want to go for generative AI for automation engineering, you want to go for video creation, for software development, for data analysis, for HR analytics, business analysis, project management, whichever one you want to go for, all of these tracks are powered by AI. Now, when it comes to learning, we have our live classes on Saturdays. Saturdays, it runs 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Keep in mind, please, that this is what? So that's West African time. And then on Sundays and every other day, you can watch your self-paced videos, which are your watch me do it videos, and you can learn on your own time. Now, the timeline is 2 months. Solomon is asking, among all these courses, which is more viable? It's a really interesting question, Solomon, but I wouldn't necessarily use that to describe it. I would say it depends on what your use case is. So what is your background? What are you looking to accomplish? If you have experience maybe in data analysis, in video, whichever one you want to go for. So you want to make sure there is some context, or it depends on what you are trying to accomplish in the market. So depending on which one you want to go for, all of them work. All of them have incredible opportunities. They're all incredibly high paying, so long as you know how to position yourself in the market, which is exactly what we are going to be teaching you. Then, what are the financial implications? Okay, I'm getting to that now. The learning timeline for this is 2 months. Okay, so you're going to be spending 6 weeks learning in class and then 2 weeks running your capstone project. Okay, so between week 1 and 2, that's your foundational weeks. Within week 3 and 4, you're building your core skills. Week 5 and week 6, you're building your project. So these are projects that are going to go into your portfolio. And within week 7 to 8, we can expect to fully launch your career. Now, what this costs is $250,000. However, because we are currently running the discount, and also because we're currently in the webinar, you can pay $150,000 for this. Another thing is that you can also secure your seats right now with a $50,000 deposit. So it's either you pay $150,000, which is a full price, or you can pay if you pay, I think your price is discounted actually if you decide to go for it, if you decide to go for the full payment. Or you can say something like, well, I'm not really sure if I want to get into this right now. I don't want to make a full-on commitment. That's fine. You don't want to make a full-on commitment. You can lock your spot down with $50,000. 50,000 naira. And then you can come back if you decide, oh, I want to continue with this. At the end of the month, you can make your next payment. You can pay it in tranches. You can pay your 150. You can decide, I'm going to start with 150 with 50,000 now. I'm going to pay 50,000 another time, and then 50,000 when I want to complete my payment, regardless of how you want to do it. I think for a lot of people, there might probably be this, is this real? Am I really going to get this value out of this program? And then because of that, they don't want to pay fully, but that's fine. So long as you decide to get started, like I always tell people, the AI window is closing, and it is closing fast. So if AI is something that you want to get started in, you need to get started yesterday. Someone is asking, is it the small price for all the AI? So it depends on the one you want to go for. If you want to go for business analysis, if you want to go for AI, if you want to go for generative AI in data analysis, depending on the one you want to go for, you can go for that. It's priced for each. Yes, it's the same price for all of them, all the courses. So my colleagues right now are dropping a link in the chat. So you can just click on that link and go make your payment, okay? You can click on the link to go make your payment. Remember what I said. You can decide, I want to get started right now, but I want to make full payments. I want to get started right now. I don't want to make full payments. You can go ahead to pay your 50,000. However, I'm also giving out something really special for the people who are currently on the call. So beyond your usual discount, which puts the price at 150, and then you can either pay this in tranches. If you decide, I want to make full payments, I want to pay this right now, exclusively on this call, and you're not going to be getting it anywhere else, you're going to be paying 100,000. So you can pay 100,000 and you can get started. So 100,000 for you to lock down 8 weeks intensive AI program training, for you to lock down a free LinkedIn profile optimization, your resume revamp, your interview coaching, your interview prep, and you could be getting your interview prep with me. You're also going to have access to mentorship sessions as well. You're going to have access to portfolio support, because while you are learning, you are also building your portfolio as well. And then you also have access to our lifetime alumni community for life. And that means you gain access to a community of AI enthusiasts who are also building and learning. So you know how valuable communities are. Now, another thing is, okay, Temi Lolu is asking, how do we make payment? Okay, so Temi Lolu, you can click on the link that my colleagues are dropping in the chat right now. If you click on the link my colleagues are dropping in the chat, that's going to take you to a page where you can make your payment. And all you have to do is impute the amount. So do you want to do a full payment? You want to do full payment, you are paying 100,000. Now, usually that would be 120, but you want to do a full payment today and only today. This offer is only valid to the people who are on the call, and it expires at exactly 12 midnight West African time. So you want to make full payments, you pay 100,000, and that's it. You lock it down. Click on the link that my colleagues are dropping. When you click on the link, it's going to take you to, let me show you what that looks like. It's going to take you to a page like this, and then all you do is just enter the amount you're paying. So if you say, you know what, Lola, you talk too much, I want to test this thing out to be sure. I'm not sure this works for me. I want to be sure this works for me first before I commit to more. You can pay 50,000. Pay 50,000 so you can join the cohort that is starting on the 4th of July. So the next cohort is starting on the 4th of July, and we're going to have a crowd of AI enthusiasts who are all going to be starting together. If you want to join this crowd that is starting next week, Saturday, by the way, this is the best time for you to get in on it. You pay 50,000 and you can get in. Or if you are completely sold on everything I have just said on the call, you can just come here and you can put in 100,000 and you put in your email address, you continue, and then you select how you want to make You select how you want to make your payments. You already have an account that you are paying to. Now, once you make your payments, you can now send a message. You can send a message telling us the course that you have selected. Send a message informing us the course that you have selected. So remember the tracks I have shown you, all of them are the same price, by the way. You want to go for generative AI in data analysis, generative AI in business analysis, AI automation, whichever one you want to go for, they are all the same price tonight. So that is entirely on you. Now, another thing that you're also going to be getting, remember I said only for the people on this call, you get 100,000. If you get it for 100,000, if you choose to pay full price tonight, you're also going to be getting a one-on-one with me. Oh my goodness, Ola, I'm not sure this is the next step for my career. I'm a bit confused. Is this what I need to do? If you're not sure if you should go for AI automation, if you should go for content creation, if you should go for business analysis, data analysis, and you want advice on the next step, now you can always join a clarity session. My colleagues have dropped a calendar link here, so you can go to Calendly and you can book a clarity session. A clarity session is where you get on a call with a couple of career consultants and you tell them about your background. You say, this is my background, this is what I'm looking to accomplish, want to make in the market. And once you explain what your aspirations are to them, then they will be making a couple of suggestions. How about you go for this, or how about you go for that? But if you want to get this exclusively with me, you have to make your payments today. So click on the link that my colleagues are dropping in the chat section. You can either use Start button to pay, or you can go to our website. Let me show you what that looks like. Now, if you click on the first link, you're going to go to our website to make payments. And when you do that, you have to select the course that you are interested in. So you come here. This is a test website, by the way. So when you click on the first link, you're going to see what that looks like. You're going to see the actual courses. So you're going to click on Enroll Now, for example. If you click on Enroll Now, then you have to put in your name. You have to put in your email. I'm going to use this email. And then you put in your phone number. You put in your phone number. And then you also put in your password as well. I'm just going to create any password here. Okay. And then you create your account and continue. So that's all it takes. Once you get in, the next step is for you to select how you want to break down your payment. So this is what it looks like. You're going to choose your payment plan. You're going to choose your cohort, and then you're going to make your payment. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to choose my payment plan. How do I want to pay? If you want to pay one time, you select the one-time payment. Remember, this is just test data. So this is not the actual site. So if you want to pay 2 installments, now when you go to the actual website, you're going to see a different price here. But if you want to make full payments tonight, just use the second link. It's the pay.startbutton.tech. Use the second link and impute 100,000 and you can make full payments for tonight. Okay, but if you want to pay installments, you can click on the first link and then you come here, you select your installment plan, and then don't forget you also have to select your cohort as well. You will be selecting the July cohort or the August cohort. I would suggest that you select July so you can get started next week Saturday, because the earlier the better. And then the next thing you do here is you select the currency that you want to make your payment in, and then you click on your CTA, and that's it. That's it. It redirects you to a page where you put in your card details and you complete your payout. Now, if this doesn't work for you, you can always select more payment methods. And then you're going to see a bunch of options that allows you to pay with your card, allows you to pay via transfer, allows you to select the bank that you want to send the transfer to as well, including paying with your USSD code. Okay, so very simple, very straightforward. I'm going to be wrapping up now. So if you have any questions, I'm going to assume if your hand is up, you have a question from me. If you don't, you can drop your hand. Now, before we wrap up, like I mentioned, for the people who pay here on the call, you can decide, if you decide, oh, I want to make the full payment, you pay 100,000, and then you also get a one-on-one with me as well. If you decide, you know what, I'm not sure how I want to deal this, but I want to take it one step at a time. I want to be sure that this is the right program for me, and I'm going to know in the next 2-3 weeks, you can pay 50,000. And then that means that you've got 50,000 and another 50,000 to go before you wrap up, in which case you can still get a one-on-one with me. However, the most important part is that you make your payment before 12 tonight. That's 12 watts. All right. Now remember, the full price of this is 250. However, it is discounted at 150,000. So you need to claim your slots today. Our next cohort is starting on the 4th of July, and we're going to be walking everyone through very interesting changes in AI. We're going to be teaching people how they can automate workflows, and this cuts across all of the courses you have seen tonight: AI business analysis, data analysis, automation, you name it. All of the courses that we offer are going to be starting their cohorts on July 4th. And if you want to be a part of that, you make your payments tonight. So I had someone who joined the session one time, and he was telling me about how he had originally seen Tenalytics, and he saw us about 2 years ago. But at the time, I think he was in the UK, he said at the time he wasn't ready to get started, and that he also did not have the money at the time when he saw it. This was 2 years ago, by the way. So he joined one of my sessions, and then that was when he paid for it. And it was really crazy because we're talking about how you could literally, even though it might have seemed like it was a whole lot, but when you calculate Uber Eats and like, oh, I just want to rush down to Walmart, I want to rush to a store to go get this, you spent all of the money that you could put together and make payments for this. But then where exactly are you? Have you done anything fantastic? Are you still doing the same job that you hate? Have you moved forward in your career? Has anything significant changed? The most important thing is that you get started today. You've already seen how AI is changing industries and how fast it is moving. It's literally not waiting for anybody. Okay, so I see that there's a question in the chat section asking, is it a daily training and what's the duration? So it's for 8 weeks. 6 weeks is learning, and then 2 weeks is your capstone. Now, I wouldn't exactly say that it's a daily training, but then I will not say it's not. So you have it's 2 styles of learning. You have self-paced, and then you have in class, so your live sessions, which is when you get into a classroom and you've got a facilitator who is teaching you and your classmates. And then you can also ask questions. You can reach out for support when you're in class. We like to run both systems because we noticed that over the years that learning cannot exist in isolation. Learning needs community. So you have community with your cohort, and then you can also choose to, you have to join your live classes though. I will suggest you join your live class. So you join your live classes, and then you also have your self-paced videos as well. Those are videos that you watch on your own time. And then it runs for 6 weeks in total. After 6 weeks, you spend the next 2 weeks working on your capstone projects before you graduate. Desmond is asking, can I register anytime, even if the price goes to the original price? Absolutely, but it depends on the cohort that you're registering for. So we have 2 open cohorts right now. If you want to join the July cohorts, you have to register before the start of the cohort. That's starting next week, Saturday. However, you would not have the special discount tonight of 100,000. So if you're choosing to pay in full, you would be paying 120. And then if you also decide, oh, I want to pay this in tranches, you'd be paying 50,000 in 3 places. Just make sure if you want to join the next cohort that you pay before the 4th of July. Then if you want to join the cohort that starts in the month after that, which is the August cohort, you can also go ahead to do that. But I would say, why delay a good thing? Just get started and do it immediately. Okay. All right, so Adisa Olabi is asking, please, will these links be pasted on the WhatsApp page? Absolutely. My colleagues will be sharing this link on WhatsApp as well. Okay, so I want to ask right now, do we have any questions? For the people who have used Strat Button to pay, you can send a DM to this number after you have the payment. Send a DM to the number that you can see on my screen. Now, for the 100,000 offer, for the full amount, the 100,000 offer is only available for the next 3 people who make their payments, and that's full payment. Only available for the next 3 people who make their payments. However, for the next 10 people, you have access to 150,000 discounts. We only have 10 more slots, so you can decide, I want to get started right now. I want to get started in August, but I would advise that you lock down your spot tonight. Okay, so I'm going to be taking questions. I see that Mafat, your hand is up. Do you want to go? Hi, Adawas. I'm sorry. I don't want to butcher your name. Okay. Can you unmute and ask your question, please? Can you send a thumbs up if you want to speak? Send a thumbs up. Okay. I'm not sure you can hear me. If you want to speak, please send a thumbs up. All right. I'm going to move to the next person on my screen, Solomon. Hi, Solomon. Solomon, can you mute your mic, please? You should have access to unmute, Solomon. Please send a thumbs up if you're trying to unmute and it's not working. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? We'll make mine next week. Okay. I would suggest that you get started ASAP. However, remember, if you decide I'm going to pay right now, you are getting an extra discount. So you get to pay 100,000 instead of paying 150. If you decide I want to make full payments tonight and I want to do it now, you get to pay 100,000. But anyway, the clock is still ticking. What? It's 9:47 p.m. So you still have until 12 to take advantage of that extra discount that slashes the amounts that you have to pay. Solomon, your hand is up. Do you have a question? If anyone else has a question, you can raise your hand. Any question? Okay, Solomon has a question, but are you trying to unmute? I can't hear you. Let me try to.
Okay, I have unmuted. Good evening, ma'am. I have a question, and my question is that I actually have a skill in data analysis, and I've been trying to get a job, though I have seen many flaws that I have, and I've really been wondering about the AI of data analysis, and I really want you to please can you explain the AI helping the data analyst to work better because I have a lot of problems on that.
Okay, I just realized I was speaking. I was muted. Can you hear me? Send a thumbs up if you can hear me. Fantastic. All right. So you said you're interested in AI for data analysts, but you want to understand how that helps, how AI helps data analysts. All right. So one of the first things that it does is that it removes what you can call the slowest and most time consuming part of data analysis. What is the first step when you as a data analyst, when you have like a data set? One of the first things that you do is you have to clean up your messy data, right? Have you had to do that, Solomon? Like you have to clean up your messy data. How long does it take you to clean up messy data? You can unmute and speak.
Sometimes, depending on how messy the data is, it takes me about a day or two, or sometimes 3 hours if consistent.
Fantastic. Now, this is part of the value of AI. You can run this, you can clean up your data set in minutes using AI. You can get a bunch of data. And that's why I said that when I was talking that AI literally synthesizes, it compresses time, it collapses time, and it helps you do your usual workflows, but much faster. So the first thing is you have to clean your data set, but then that takes you days, it takes you hours. With the right prompt, with the right AI tool, you can run your data set and you can get a cleaned output in a matter of minutes. So that means that you have already cut out hours away from your workflow. Now, the next thing is that you can also use AI for SQL queries. Okay, so maybe you have like SQL queries that you have to run a couple of times. You can use AI to write this. Maybe you've got maybe you want to build a dashboard, you want to build a chart. You can use AI to brainstorm when it comes to your code. So one thing I always run right now in my workflows is I have to do a lot of script work. Before, I would have to write this script manually. You know how script works in Google Sheets, right, Solomon? You can send a thumbs up if you do. Like your extension, scripts, JavaScript. You can send a thumbs up if you do. Solomon, are you there? Fantastic. Now, usually it would take a while to do this, because as I'm sure you must understand, then there will be a bunch of testing. Sometimes I would run my code and it's not working and I can't figure out where the problem is coming from. But with AI, it's so much easier for me. I will just copy my code and I would say, where is the problem? Where have I gone wrong in my code? And now it's very easy for me to fix my code. It's also very easy for me to brainstorm new ways to do things. It's very easy for me to build dashboards much faster, and I'm using AI for that. Now, as a data analyst, where this is literally your bread and butter, you have to do this every single day. Imagine compressing all of the time that it takes you to build this into mere hours, minutes. The work that you do in 1 week, you can get in 1 day. And all you have to do is know the right tools that you need to use. That's it. The only thing that's left for you is knowing what question is worth asking AI, is judging whether or not your AI outputs make sense, and then you tweak it here and there. But AI is the one that runs all of the manual tasks. So as a data analyst, the best thing you could ever do for yourself is to learn how you can use AI as a force multiplier. Now, there's a new tool in Google Sheets. It's called Canvas. I'm very excited to get into Canvas. Well, Canvas is powered by AI. So if you don't know how to run like prompt engineering and things like that, you can't use it to its full capabilities. So it's very important as a data analyst that you get into AI. Imagine you've got your colleagues and your colleagues are getting work done in like hours, and it's taking you days to get the same work done. And then they can also use AI as well as a QA, a quality assurance, that will check their work, and you don't have anyone who can cross-check your work. So as a data analyst, AI has a lot of value to your workflow. I hope I've answered your question, Solomon. Fantastic. Do you have any other questions before I move to the next person? I don't think you do.
I do. Okay, what I wanted to ask lastly is that when we talk about AI, I had a data challenge going on LinkedIn, of which I actually engaged, and it's not really giving me what I want. I use more of ChatGPT, and the ChatGPT has been giving me answers. When I refer back to the answers, it's giving me another answers, actually being inconsistent. So I was asking if there are better AI tools that could make my work more consistent, like it's giving me inconsistent answer comparing to what they give you at first.
Okay. So a lot of times, the tools that you are using is what, so there are two things that determine the quality of your output. Number one, it is the quality of your inputs. So in many cases, what you give AI is what AI will give back to you, which means if your input is quality, if it is very descriptive. I've had cases where I want to achieve a certain result with AI, and then I've had to tweak my prompt a couple of times before I was able to get my desired result. So you can't just tell AI, I need to do XXX, clean up this data, and it will do that and get it right. A lot of times you have to refine your prompt. So that's one reason why you could be getting inconsistent results. Now, another thing as well is that depending on what you were trying to accomplish, I'm not sure what workflow you were trying to accomplish exactly. But one thing is that some people use the wrong AI tools for the right workflows. So you have to use the right AI tools for certain workflows. For example, as a data analyst, you'd be learning how to use SQL, Julius, you'd be learning how to use NA10. There are some tools that you need bricks for. There are some tools you need Excel for, you need sheets for it. There are some tools that you need NA10 for. There are some things that you can accomplish in Claude that you might not be able to accomplish in ChatGPT. So learning how to use the right tool is also critical as well for this workflow. And that's part of what you're going to be learning here. Number one is, what is the right workflow for what I want to accomplish? What is the best way for me to do it? And then number two is, how can I get quality when I'm using this? So like I said, in a nutshell, it could come down to two different reasons. Number one is the quality of your input, the quality of your prompt. And then number two is the kind of tool that you are using for a specific workflow. I hope that answers your question. Fantastic. All right. I'm going to move to Mafat Adawas. I'm sorry, I want to butcher your name, but are you there? You can send a thumbs up if you are. Are you there? Mafat, are you there? Okay, I don't think he's here. But do we have any other questions before we call it a day? Any questions? Any questions? I'm going to check the chat section to see if we've got any more questions. Gideon is asking, are we getting the prompts you said you will send to us on WhatsApp? Absolutely, you're getting the prompts. Yes. But you're not getting the prompt on WhatsApp. You're going to be getting it via your email. So please ensure that you fill out the form that my colleagues are dropped in the chat section. Imagel Creation said, I run a company and we are into designs, prints, and general branding. This will be great, thanks. I'm not entirely sure what you're referring to. I think I've lost the context because it was at 9:50, 7 minutes ago. But do you want to ask a question? Imagel, are you there? Do you want to ask a question? I really need this. I'm sorry, I don't have context for that. Okay, but I think that's pretty much it. If you don't want to ask a question, that's fine. You can simply click on the link that my colleagues have dropped in the chat section, and you can book a clarity call. So now, before I wrap up, I do want you to remember the next cohort starts on the 4th of July. So I hope you are prepared for it, so you can join the next cohort that started. And you can start with any of the tracks that I've already walked you through, which is generative AI for data analysis, business analysis, projects management, HR, automation engineering, video creation, or software development. The most important thing I would say is that you get started. Oni, your mic is unmuted. Do you want to say something? Hi, Oni. Your mic is unmuted. Do you want to say something? Or do I mute you for everyone on the call? Okay, just going to mute you. All right. So remember that the cohort starts on the 4th of July. Now, depending on the track you want to go for, they are all priced at the same band. So they are all 250,000, but discounted to 150,000 if you are paying in tranches. If you're paying at once, but you're not paying tonight, that's going to be 120. And if you decide you want to pay tonight before 12, that's going to be 100,000. You just click on the start button, you go there and you impute 100,000. But If you decide that, this is not the right time for you, maybe you decide you want to start in August, that is still fine. I would say the most important thing is that you get into the AI movement as soon as you can, because like I showed us, AI is moving very fast and it is not waiting for anybody. It is growing, it is moving, and people are accelerating their careers, their businesses, their workflows using AI. And you want to be at the forefront of that. But kind of like how Solomon was confused. I'm using this workflow, I'm using this prompt, it's not getting me the results I want. It tells you that even though we have the same AI, we are all using the same AI tool, the results that we are getting is completely different because expertise differs. And that is why you need programs like this so you can stay on top of the game when it comes to AI. And most importantly, you can be dangerous in the market. So thank you so much, everyone, for spending all of this time. I think we've been here for about 2 hours. And for everyone who has gotten started, who has made their payment, and will be getting started on the 4th of July or in August, I will see you in class. And for everyone else, what are you waiting for? If we have no further questions, thank you so much, everyone, for joining this call. On behalf of my colleagues and I, it was fantastic being your host. And we look forward to seeing you another time. Thank you. Bye, everyone.